Hi everybody, my name is Ava Podmoro and I am joined by Emily Duguid and Hannah Romanek. We are here from the Kelowna Cleanliness and Safety Enhancement Initiative team here to propose our project, the 24-hour sanitary public washroom. This is a project that is financially feasible, timely, and involves the support of many stakeholders and shareholders. This project will address raised concerns regarding public health and safety, hygiene, and regulation in the downtown cultural district. We will be going into depth on our weighted criteria model of how we decided to go through with this project, some deliverables that this project simply cannot be done without, a work breakdown structure where we will speak about each task and how we will complete them, as well as some financials and budgeting. We will conclude our project with why we think this would be of absolute success. We hope you enjoy. To start off with our situation at hand, over the years, downtown Kelowna has experienced an influx in visitor traffic, which is great for Kelowna's tourism industry as well as for supporting the downtown businesses. However, certain local downtown businesses have raised concerns regarding guests only entering for basic hygiene needs, so using the washroom or grabbing a glass of water, or shelter needs. There are downtown public washrooms available, however, for limited hours of the day. For example, the Kelowna Visitor Center provides a frequently cleaned and frequently regulated public washroom, however, with their hours being 8:30 to 5 on the off season and 8:30 to 8:30 in the summer, there are time constraints. Some other concerns have been raised regarding a lack of well-lit public spaces and seating at night. Now, how will we help with this? Well, the Kelowna Cleanliness and Safety Enhancement Initiative has been created to address hygiene, safety, and accessibility concerns in the downtown cultural district. Using a weighted criteria model, the 24-hour sanitary public washroom has been selected to address the growing concerns around accessibility, hygiene, and safety. Shown in the bar graph, it was pretty close across the board, but ultimately the 24-hour public washroom scored the highest. This will be a 24-hour regulated and frequently sanitized public washroom in the downtown cultural district. The 24-hour sanitary public washroom project will require strategic planning and designing, as well as construction of a clean and innovative washroom facility. This project could not be done without the following deliverables. Number one being extensive project planning. This will be done through financial budgets, meeting with stakeholders, and blueprint design. We will have permits created as well as quotes drafted, and those will both need to be approved. We will be working continuously alongside local contractors, carpenters, plumbers, and electricians to ensure smooth execution of the project at hand. We will be installing modern hygiene technology, so this will look like touchless flush toilets, automatic sinks and dryers, energy efficient lighting, and security cameras outside of the facility. This will ensure both safety, sanitation, and sustainability. We will then be implementing a strict cleaning schedule as well as hiring cleaners, and then there will be ongoing collaboration and connection with local businesses for their input. Now, for stakeholder involvement, the City of Kelowna will be our main project lead. They'll hold the highest authority on permits, budgeting, and site approval. To keep them in line with what we have going on, we'll provide regular updates and ensure our project supports their goals around safety and health and sustainability. The Downtown Kelowna Association will play a key role in representing downtown businesses. Their support increases community buy-in, and we'd include them with planning and offer signage, as well as visibility opportunities to strengthen collaboration. The City Council will be the ones who give us the final approval. We'll strengthen our pitch by highlighting examples from cities like Calgary who have shown extreme success from similar projects. We'll invite councillors to walkthroughs so they can visualize the impact firsthand. RCMP and bylaw officers will be the ones to ensure the facility meets safety and operational standards. We'll consult with them early on to guarantee alignment and provide stats from similar facilities to support our case. Tourism Kelowna will help reinforce the project's value from a visitor perspective. We'll collaborate with them on signage and include the facility on visitor maps. This will strengthen their support and increase our visibility. Local businesses will be some of the ones that are directly affected by the cleanliness and public space usage. We'll gather feedback through surveys, communicate early about benefits, and we'll offer window decals for each business. And then for citizens of Kelowna, they'll have less influence during the decision making and construction process, but they'll be the primary users. We'll keep them informed through social media and highlight the accessibility and hygiene improvements that the facility will provide.
Okay, so I'm going to break down the work breakdown structure for our project. Firstly, a work breakdown structure outlines the details of the deliverables that a project is defined by. So, as you can see by this little diagram that I have in the left here, there is 3 levels to a general work breakdown structure and 3 levels that we've used for our project. So, starting with level 1, you're going to put the overall project. So, whatever that may be for us, our project is the 24-hour public sanitary bathroom project. And then in level 2, you are going to add the deliverables in order to achieve that project. So that those are more general deliverables. And then you're going to get a little bit more detailed in level 3, and you're going to do sub deliverables to the main deliverables. So that means breaking down that general deliverable into small pieces in order for you to finish that deliverable and move on to the next step. So, as discussed previously in the slides, there is going to be 6 deliverables that we have picked to outline our projects and the steps that we feel are necessary in order to properly figure out our project and take it until the end. We're going to start with project planning, approvals and quotes, construction of the project, installation, safety upkeep solutions, and finally the post project feedback loop. And so when we talk a little bit about those sub deliverables, I'll just give a little bit of an example. So for project planning, our first sub deliverable is the project design, which would mean that we would contract a designer to design the entire layout of the washroom when it comes to, automatic versus standard, when it comes to lighting, textures, safety precautions and safety design, meaning a larger stall for like wheelchair access, things like that. So that's the first sub deliverable. The next is the project budget. So as our budget for this project is 650,155. We are trying to stay within that budget, meaning that we need to allocate the amount of money that we're going to spend on each deliverable for this project and stay within that. And then, of course, we have the project meeting, which is meeting with the City of Kelowna, City Council, RCMP, and bylaw, all to present the blueprint of this project and ultimately to get their opinion and approvals so we can continue with our project. I'm going to speak a little bit about the requirements traceability matrix. So, the requirements traceability matrix, or RTM, of this project outlines all the necessary requirements needed in order to define the project's deliverables. So, the requirements are absolute necessities that need to be accomplished in order to achieve that main deliverable. So for this project, we actually have 12 requirements, and then we are going to match those to our deliverables, our 6 deliverables. So firstly, we have permits required, which for example would be matched to deliverable 1.2, which is our approvals and quotes. Then we have the funding and loans, which would be attached to, of course, 1.1, which is the project planning. We have the contracts, clear signage, project cost, time frame, 24-hour access to the washroom, inclusivity, sanitation, security, maintenance and inspection, and feedback at the very end, which our feedback that we're using for this project is going to be a QR code that is going to be posted in the washroom, and that all the customers using the washroom can scan, and it'll allow them to fill out a survey so we can take in any feedback that consumers of the washroom have. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the project schedule and tasks for our 24-hour washroom. So, firstly, I'm just going to mention that we wanted a 24-month period in which the project would be completed as our time budget, per se. So, we started doing our project schedule with MS Planner. And firstly, you put in your 12 requirements that were mentioned in the previous slide. And then we're going to add a few different components to this. So we're going to add the start date and possible finish date of the project. We're going to add the duration in which each requirement needs to be completed. So, for example, project planning for this amount of hours, and what's the other one? The project cost, and it'll take this amount of hours in order to figure that out. So we're going to add that. Then we're going to add the priority of each requirement. So that means that we're going to rank which requirement needs to be a priority and needs to be completed first. Then a special factor in this is the depends on function. So that is when we are going to go down on the requirements and see, okay, the first requirement, in order for the first requirement to be completed, it depends on which other requirements to be finished. So, for example, the project cost, the project planning needs to be completed before we can do the project cost, if that makes sense. And then finally, we're going to do the percent in which all the requirements are completed so far. So as you can see here, we have, fictitiously completed the first 2 requirements. So those 2 are going to be 100% done. However, we have the remaining requirements to still be completed. So it's amazing because by the end of this project schedule, we were actually able to figure out that our project was only going to take us 17 months, which was right in that 2-year, sweet spot. We didn't go over and we didn't go too much under, although the faster, the better to finish the project. But we were really happy that it was going to take us to that 17th month mark, and then we would be completed.
The approved budget for the 24-hour sanitary public washroom project is $655,155. This budget uses a bottom-up approach and stems from the previous work breakdown structure. The internal labor column is the effort from the WBS, and the cost per hour and non-labor costs are industry values obtained from secondary research. We believe this budget is fair and a good investment for the City of Kelowna. The quality standards for this project include cleanliness and sanitation, accessibility and inclusivity, safety and security, environmental sustainability, and maintenance. So requirements for the cleanliness and sanitation standard include the washrooms are clean and inspected every 2 hours during the day and every 4 hours overnight, automatic soap, water, and hand dryers to minimize contact, and a daily sanitation log signed by staff after each clean and visible to users. To ensure this standard is met, the quality assurance measure includes training all custodial staff on proper sanitation processes, and the quality control measures include conducting random weekly inspections. Requirements for the accessibility and inclusivity standard include gender-neutral washrooms, at least one fully accessible stall with grab handles, automatic doors, and enough space for mobility devices such as wheelchairs, a changing table, braille signage, and barrier-free access pathways from the washroom's entrance to the sidewalk. To ensure this standard is met, the quality assurance control includes involving an accessibility and disability expert to consult on the washroom during the design phase. And the quality control measure includes performing quarterly user experience surveys from diverse user groups. Requirements for the safety and security standard include regular patrols from Paladin Security during the overnight hours, bright motion sensor LED lighting inside and outside the washroom, an emergency help button to connected to the Kelowna RCMP, and exterior cameras connected to Paladin Security. To ensure these standards are met, the quality assurance measure includes testing all alarms, lighting, surveillance systems, and response times prior to the finish date, and the quality control measure includes conducting weekly checkups of the emergency alarms, lights, and cameras. Requirements for the environmental sustainability standard include obtaining LEED certification by using low-flow toilets and sinks, solar-powered LED lighting, 100% recycled toilet paper, and sustainability material for construction, such as recycled steel and reclaimed wood. To ensure this standard, the quality assurance measure includes having LEED certification as a priority during the design and construction phases, and the quality control measure includes monitoring the water and electricity usage monthly. Requirements for the maintenance standard include a maintenance response time of maximum 2 hours during the day, quarterly facility inspections to evaluate the functionality, and public signage such as a QR code for reporting maintenance issues. To ensure the standard is met, the quality assurance measure includes providing training for maintenance staff on the environmental technology used, and the quality control measure includes conducting monthly performance reports, including response times and repair times. The potential risks for this project include vandalism and property damage, which will include graffiti, broken fixtures, and any other intentional damage. The probability of this risk is medium and would impact maintenance costs, downtime for repairs, and would create a negative public perception of this facility. To mitigate this risk, we will use vandal-resistant materials such as stainless steel and put up signage describing fines for misusing the washroom and our frequent security patrols. The second risk are safety and security incidents, such as drug usage, loitering, or unsafe behavior within or near the washroom. The probability of this risk is high due to the population of homeless individuals within the downtown area. This risk would impact public safety concerns and possible closure if persistent. To mitigate this risk, we have security design features such as the emergency button and security patrols frequently. The last risk is public misuse or overuse, which includes any overnight stays or a high demand that strains the facility over time. The probability of this risk is medium, and its impact includes faster wear and tear, increased cleaning costs, and a decreased public service experience. To mitigate this strategy, we have durable, easy-to-clean fixtures, monitored usage data, and strategic design features such as bright lights and no flat surfaces to lessen the likelihood of overnight stays. The communication plan will include monthly team meetings where we will give updates on the project and briefly discuss the past month's goals, successes, and any obstacles we faced. The plan will also include tangible quarterly progress reports that consist of any issue logs or financial updates. The entire communication plan will consist of 17 monthly meetings and 5 quarterly progress reports for stakeholders. The stakeholders involved in this plan will include the City of Kelowna, the Downtown Kelowna Association, City Council, RCMP and Bylaw, and Tourism Kelowna. The 24-hour sanitary public washroom in Kelowna is more than a facility. It is an investment in safety, public health, and economic stability that strengthens our entire downtown area. By providing a clean, secure, and inclusive space for everyone, we reduce the strain on downtown businesses, help support vulnerable populations, and create a more welcoming environment for residents, businesses, and tourists. Let's move forward and build a safer, healthier, and more flourishing Kelowna for all. Let's keep it clean.